Welcome, everyone. Uh, Today I'm going to cover the final review, part one. Um, so we shall begin. Number one, it's asking for the slope of the line. So we know that slope, you need 2 points. So you have to label your x1, y1, and your x2, y2. Of course, we remember that slope is the difference here. It'll be better if I just write it out. Slope is the difference in the y, so y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And if you put that in the calculator, here, I'll go over here for room. You got to do 4 minus negative 4 over negative 4 minus 2, and that gives you 8 over negative 6, which reduces to negative 4/3. The answer being C. All right, so slope, you need to know the slope formula. Okay, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, rate of change. Oh, well, again, that's slope. All right, we're doing slope again. Now, remember that f of x is actually y, and all you need is 2 points. So let's do these two. y1, y2, x1, x2. So we get 4 minus 3 over 10 minus 7. And let's see. Oh, no, I did that wrong. My mistake. I put the y's on the bottom. Glad I caught that. Sorry. It's got to be y2 minus y1. So if some of you are wondering, what is he doing? That is my mistake. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 gives us 3 over 1, which is just 3. So the slope is 3. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, what is the slope of the line for the equation 6x minus 4y equals negative 36? Well, we remember y equals mx plus b. So slope is m, which is attached to x if y is by itself. All right, so we move the x term. Remember to change the sign. Positive 6x becomes negative 6x. Watch your signs. Make sure you're dividing by negative 4. The negative 4's cancel out, so y equals positive 9 plus 6 over 4 reduces to 3 halves. So the slope is next to x. The answer is A. Okay, graph a line with the x-intercept of negative 2. Well, this is the x. And then a y-intercept of 4. This is the y. So here's negative 2 on the x, positive 4 on the y. And, ooh, that was terrible. All right. Just make sure you do a better job than I do. You connect the dots, and that graphs the line. All right, we got another rate of change. Remember, you need 2 pretty points. Any 2 pretty points. So here's a pretty point. Here's a pretty point. Rise over run. So remember, slope is rise over run. And then this is up positive 1 over 2, so 1/2. And remember, this slope here is positive. It's rising, so the slope is positive. That plus means positive. Positive 1/2. All right, let's find the slope of this line. Remember, you only need 2 points. Let's see, this can be my x1, x2, y1, y2, and you find your slope, 5 minus 1, 5 minus 0. That equals 4/5. Okay, number 7. What is the x and y intercepts for the following linear function graph below? That's easy. Here's the x-intercept. Here's the y-intercept. X, y. So the answer is B. Remember, it's over to the elevator and then up or down. So over 5, up 0, over 0, down -4. Okay. The graph of a linear function g passes through the points -8, -5, 8, 3. This graph is not even big enough for us to find those points. And I noticed that all the slopes are different. So if I can just use the slope formula, I should be good to go. So label my x1, y1, x2, y2. So 3 minus -5, 8 minus -8 equals 8 over 16 equals positive a half. The answer is B. So on this one, I didn't even have to worry about finding the y-intercept, although they all have the same y-intercept. So it was just about finding the slope. Okay, number 9. Which value, if of it should say of n, makes the equation true? Okay, so you got a couple different a couple different approaches. You could change all the n's to x's and put the left-hand side into Desmos as one equation, and then the right-hand side as another equation. So you would change all these n's to x's. And then you would find the solution where the two lines cross, and your answer would be the x. Or another approach would be to simply plug and chug. That means you would pick answer choices. Trying to delete this. You would pick answer choices, like say you wanted to try -2.4. You would plug in -2.4 into each, wherever there's an n, clean it up, and if you get a true statement, if the left-hand side equals the right-hand side, then you know that you got the right answer. And you could even do that in Desmos if you didn't want to bother with the calculations. You just plug in the left-hand side, but you would do parentheses, like -10 parentheses -2.4 plus 24 plus 24 parentheses -2.4. And then you'd start another line in Desmos or in the calculator, -6 parentheses -2.4, and you could go ahead and do -4 parentheses. And if you get two equal answers, you know you got the right answer, and if you don't, you got the wrong answer. All right, so I don't have a lot of room here, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. In fact, I'm going to, let's see, come over here. Let's see, -10 plus 24 plus 24n. So -10. Let's see, was there an n there? -10n plus 24 plus 24n equals -6. Oops. It's supposed to be a negative. 6n minus 4. And basically, I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and clean things up. Let me make sure I got all that right. Okay. Oops, I forgot the n right here. Okay, good thing I double-checked. All right, so we combine like terms. These are like terms. -10 plus 24 is 14n plus 24 equals, and then you distribute -6n plus 24. Remember, negative times a negative is a positive. All right, let's combine like terms. That gives me, what, 20n plus 24 equals 24. All right, let's combine like terms. 20n equals 0. Divide by 20. N equals 0 is my answer. All right, so the answer is C. All right. Number 10, if f of x equals -2/3 x plus 4, what is the value of f of 24. All right, so I need you to notice that x is 24. So wherever you see an x, we're going to replace it with the 24. So equals negative 2/3 24 plus 4. And that equals negative 12 if you put it in Desmos or handheld calculator. All right, remember on Eduphoria, if it's negative, you put the negative here, and then you put the number at the end. And if it's not negative, you don't put anything on the left block. Okay, number 11, let's see. Same thing. It's the same thing. Let me go over here and erase a bunch of this. So I'll have room. Okay, because again, you could use Desmos. You could do the plug and chug method. Let's see. I'm just gonna erase a little bit more. Give myself just a little bit more room. I don't think I have to erase the whole thing. I'll just move down here. All right, so it's a half 8x minus 84. So 1/2 8x minus 84 equals negative 14x plus 12. Yeah, okay. Let me double check. Did I forget anything? Okay. So, all right, then we solve the old-fashioned way. You distribute. That's 4x minus 42 equals negative 14x plus 12. It's supposed to be negative. Let's see, I'm going to move this over here, plus 14x plus 14x. That's 18x minus 42 equals, sorry, that's supposed to be a 12. Plus 42 plus 42 gives me 18x equals 54. Sorry, that's an x. Divided by 18. X equals 3 is the answer. Let's see. Ooh, okay. So the answer is A. All right. Moving on. All right, graph the solution to the inequality. So we distribute 3x minus 9 is greater than 2x minus 6 minus 2x from both sides. X minus 9 is greater than negative 6. I'm going to add 9 to both sides, and that gives me x is greater than, remember the math wants to eat the bigger thing, 3. But it's not equal to, it's just greater than. So you circle 3, but leave it empty, and greater than you shade to the right. All right, number 13, they want us to find f of negative 4. So wherever you see a x, I'm going to put a negative 4. So 2 negative 4 minus 6 equals negative 8 minus 6 equals negative 14. The answer is A. 14, honestly, you don't even have to do the whole thing. Once you start getting answers, you'll realize what the answer has to be. But basically, these are 5 problems where you have to plug in. Remember, domain is X. So wherever you see an X, you have to plug these in. You got to do it 5 times. So let's see if I can do it over here. F of negative 3 is 4 times negative 3 minus 6 equals negative 12 minus 6 equals negative 18. And you already know the answer is D. But you would do it for each and every single one, and it would pop out these answers. Like, let me do another one. I'm not going to do all of them, but f of negative 1, that's 4 times negative 1 minus 6. That's -4 minus 6. That's -10. Yeah, this is going to be the answer. All right. Remember, domain is X, so it can't even be A or B. They don't have X in them. So the question is it C or D? Well, notice the circles are empty, so it's not equal to. The answer is D. So this dude, he lives in between X of -3 and X of +4. That's his domain, but not equal to those guys. So range is Y on number 16. Same situation. It's got to be Y, so it can't be C or D. The circles are empty, so it's B. But his range is in between -1 and +4. That's where this line lives, okay? Is the following a function? Well, let's see on number 17. Does it pass the vertical line test? Remember, a vertical line test says you can only cross through the graph one time. So yes, it is a function because each line only touches the graph once. So the domain is the X, so it's -2, -4, -2, 0, 2, and the range is 3, -1, -5, -9. So it's A. Remember, a domain is X, range is Y. Which of the following questions has a slope of 0? Well, 0 slope is horizontal line, so it's got to be Y equals a number, so it's not B or D. So if X is -2, Y is 7, it's got to be Y equals 7. All right, because it has to go through that point on the graph. All right, but horizontal lines with a slope of 0 have to be Y equals something. If it was vertical, it would be X equals. If it went up and down, that would be X equals something with the undefined slope. All right, point slope form, Y minus Y1 equals M parentheses X minus X1. What do you know? That's super easy. The slope is -2. And then domain and range. The domain is from -5 to 5, and the range is -2 to 3. So the -5 has a filled-in circle, so it has to be, let's see, D, because it has to have the equal to part. And then on the range, the 3 has the equal to part over here. That's where the equal to part is.